And welcome back to my channel. It's Christy here doing the weekly reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Thank you so much for sticking around. I did take last week off. I was super sick, but I'm much better now. So last few weeks, if you were watching, we had a little focus on healing. This week, I'm going to switch it up a little. I want to do a focus for all signs around hidden strengths. We're looking at what is available to you that you may not have been aware of, or that it's time to consider and make effort toward in terms of improving your own life. So hidden strengths is the name of the game this week for us. And we're using the Wisdom of the Oracle for our main spread, and as always drawing from the medicine cards and the Healing with the Angel Oracle for additional messages. This is for Cancer for the week of October 24th through to the 31st. It's for Sun and Moon rising, Sun and Moon and rising signs as well. So if this isn't resonating with you for any reason, do check out your Moon and Rising signs. Those could have helpful messages for you this week. So Cancer, with a focus on hidden strengths, what do you need to know this week? All right, let's get a little snapshot of what's going on here with all these cards together. Again, the focus being hidden strengths. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see never-ending story here, just because it feels like you could be sort of parked in neutral for the last little while, and you do need to branch out. Basically, what I'm seeing here as a snapshot, and I'll go through this individually in just a second, your internal dialogue needs to be shut off around what you've been holding yourself back from, especially Cancer. We're looking at two high, I'm going to consider the major arcana for this deck, a very high energy card being the Fates and why. We're looking at absolutely holding yourself back. Here's the difference between someone else or something else or outside influences or just not being the right time holding you back from something, as opposed to you literally being your own worst enemy this week with regard to just pushing through something. Just this whole, this what if thing that you've been doing to yourself around this really significant progress for your own life, Cancer, with regard to hidden strengths, okay? This could even be like a hidden strength is something that you need to tap into, frankly, because it's what you are here to do, right? And constantly putting it on the back burner, or constantly talking yourself out of it, or constantly, convincing yourself, and we all do this for one thing or another. All of us, all human beings can, talk ourselves into or out of almost anything. But with regard to something that you feel fated to do, something that you feel propelled to do, it's almost like there's this, you can't even figure it out. There's no way to put words to it. There's almost like no rhyme or reason. It seems even inexplicable. That's what we're looking at this week, okay? So really high energy, high fated, cosmic energy. Even if someone were to explain it to you and they had the answers, you'd still sort of say, really? But why? That kind of thing that's pulling you this week. This is your hidden strength. This is what you absolutely need to move through, because you yourself have been acting as your own worst enemy and holding yourself back from something that it's just time to move through. Like, time is up. You need to get past it. Let's look at why. Here in the central position being the Fates, this is you attached to the star, okay? Yes, we're all stars. We're all made of star stuff. We know this. But here is the essence of what you're supposed to be doing. with your life, with yourself, with your, your persona, your own strengths, your hidden strengths. You're supposed to be exalting them. And for whatever reason, there's this sense of shyness around it. And we're all guilty of this. There's this sense of, like I said at the beginning, it's not the right time, or what are people going to think? And listen, it's actually one of the worst things that any of us can tell ourselves with regard to following through with our highest intention, our highest awareness, or our highest fated self. What are you good at naturally? What are you compelled to do naturally? One of the worst things we can do, and saddest things that we can do as well, is to talk ourselves out of that. Strictly around, what are people going to think of that? Well, that's a terrible thing to do to ourselves, and it's really mean. And it's something that we need to work past. So if you've been your own worst enemy around this in terms of, what do people think? That's a judgment call. And I think that you're making your own judgments around someone else doing it. You're imagining someone else doing it, and you're projecting your own judgment calls on it. And your hidden strength this week is to cease to do this. If you can look at this issue for yourself, your fate, what are you supposed to be doing? What gives you joy and bliss and hope and fills you with love and light? And I'm going to even add here that feels rather effortless, that there's a sense of, oh, you just do this and then this happens. That's an effortlessness. This is another way that you know that you're propelled to go in this direction. Feels natural to you, but you've been holding yourself back here. But there is something that you're supposed to be doing. You're drawn to this for a reason. It keeps coming up, something that keeps coming up that you feel compelled to be doing. You'll also notice here that, she's tied to these stars, something bigger than herself, and her eyes are closed. There's no reason for her here. There's no reason, rhyme or reason. And you could be trying to rhyme and reason it to death here, especially with the probable outcome. If that makes you feel better, I guess, but this could be another mode of behavior or mode of thinking or acting that keeps you from acting as well. So try not to get caught up in the motivation. It could just be a real good week for action, okay? Especially if you've been feeling any anxiety or depression around this, I want to add, okay? If you've been feeling let down, or you're letting yourself down, or worse, if you see someone else doing it and there's an element of jealousy, that's when you know. Whenever you feel down about something that you see someone else doing that you feel in your heart and soul you should be doing, that's a sign, Cancer. Not that you should be jealous, but that, oh, I'm doing that too. Don't be jealous, act, okay? Don't be depressed, act. Don't get anxious about anything, act. Just keep acting here in the moment. This is all we have. Here with flexible being in the position leading into what's going on this week, this is you having all that you need. You've sort of been here, you've been there, you know where you don't belong, you know what you really want. You know what's available to you. Something is inside, something is growing, taking on a life of its own. You know how to get around this. Even if there's a little bit of area where it's new, or it's going to be, what do we call it, like a little bit rough around the edges type thing. Even if that's what's going on here, just know for sure that that's part and parcel of it. This is part of the whole phase of it. It's supposed to be rough around the edges. You haven't even done it yet. Like, you can't perfect it until you do it. So you have to start here. You have to start somewhere where it isn't perfect, God forbid, and then you can perfect it, okay? You've been entirely too difficult on yourself, to the point where you probably have tried to talk yourself out of this, okay? And it's time to stop that. In terms of, hidden strengths, just act. Just make a move. Here with why being in your probable outcome, this is intentions, right? This is where you can easily talk yourself into or out of anything here. You're really good at it. You've mastered talking yourself into and out of stuff. Fantastic. That's great. But where has it gotten you? If it's gotten you into a place of, oh gosh, I don't like where I am. I wish I could move out of this state. I wish I could have what they have. Again, with any issues around jealousy or being unmotivated to take action around a certain theme here, while feeling depressed or anxious about the issue, or insecure, even worse, or unsure. This needs to stop, okay? This whole thing of, why would I be doing this? What are my intentions? Here's your intention. It's fated. You just do it. Because the beautiful thing about that, and not trying to figure something out, here, I'm going to say it again. Even if you do figure it out, whatever it is, even if someone were to hold a book up to you and show you exactly what it was made of and why you're supposed to be doing it, you're still going to find a reason to say, but why? Just don't. It's got to stop. It's sucking up a lot of energy. It's sucking up a lot of time. It's nonsense. It's turning into nonsense. And it's a time suck. And time's running out. You're fated to do this. Just go do it. The beautiful thing about this is because whatever it is that you're about to go do, here's what I'm going to suggest that you're slightly afraid of. And this is a human thing, not just because you're Cancer. You might be afraid or talking yourself out of doing something. Here's the never-ending story that I'm looking at, by the way, when I'm saying this, is, but what if it doesn't work out? But what if I make the wrong decision? But what if someone doesn't like it? Really? Oh, well, here's the beautiful thing about that. What if it doesn't work out? Cool. You can do something else. What if you change your mind midway? Awesome. You get to do something else. What if someone doesn't like what you're doing and has something nasty to say about it? Great. Now you know how they really think about you. Do you see how this is all to your highest benefit? That you plow through this illusion you have around this little life that you're living, it kind of feels like a little bit like a theft. Like you're stealing from yourself. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or you're actively talking yourself out of what you're supposed to be doing. Why? Sense of protection. You want to fit in. It's more comfortable just doing it this way. All we have is now, Cancer. All we have is right here. I'm going to ask that you have the self-respect this week and find that hidden strength and just do it. Just take a step. Make that act, that behavior is what's going to save us. We can think ourselves into or out of anything, right? Good mood, bad mood. We can talk ourselves into and out of practically anything. Good mood, bad mood. When you act is when a change occurs, okay? This is the act of magic, is when we act on our intentions and our highest sense of self here. Here with the coyote, yeah, you've been tricking yourself. No kidding. Coyote is trickster. Another really simple way to read coyote is to imagine Coyote, the cartoon guy, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. You think you're really clever. You think you're really getting around something. You think you're really achieving something. You have all the best gadgets. You have all the best, and in this term gadgets, I'm going to say, excuses. You have all the best ways out of something, right? Or like I pointed out, even you know that road into that disaster. You know that road into that excuse. But where is it getting you? Absolutely nowhere. And who has the last laugh? The Roadrunner. All the time. The Roadrunner has the last laugh. And I'm going to suggest here that the Roadrunner is really just the fated part of yourself who's just like kind of pointing and laughing, kind of like, really? You expected to get to the next level by doing that? That's what I'm suggesting is going on here. You know better than this. And you want more for yourself. And it's just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other toward this new life for yourself. Yes, you can go and figure it out. You can write it down all day long. You can go to psychics. You can get tarot readings every day for the rest of your life. For what? To hear what you already know. To hear that it's just a matter of action that you need to employ. And that you have the answers. You know where you're headed. You have to stop fooling yourself here, Cancer, and just take a leap. Take a chance, because this is what's going to happen over and over and over, right? This sense of feeling like, really, I'm in this position again? Like I was thinking this 5 years ago. I was thinking this 10 years ago, etc. So if that's what's going on when you hear this reading this week, that's what you're going to want to tap into and really make significant changes around. Here we have truth and integrity and abundance. 100%. This is what awaits you, dear Cancer. I want you to look at this carefully. What are you fated toward? What are you true and integral about? Where do you want to find abundance, right? You have it within. You have this to give. You only need to know it's what you really are. You don't have to explain it away. Nobody needs an explanation. And listen, if there's anyone in your life who's just like, but why? That's not what everyone else is doing. Or why now? You're too old. You're too this. You're too that. You have too many commitments. This is too risky. If there's anyone in your life saying stuff like that, it could very well be your internal dialogue, by the way. That really needs to be quelled. You don't need to be rude, but you can say, you know what? Yep, I get it. I've heard it all before. I'm going to try something new, though. I just really want to push myself. And challenge yourself this week, Cancer. Listen, that is your reading for the week. If you have a second, comment below. If you're not already, subscribe to my channel. It's free to do so. And it also allows me to upload more videos, not only readings for you, but I want to do face-to-face stuff with you in the near future. So make sure you subscribe, and I really hope you enjoyed that. Push yourself a little bit this week. Something beautiful awaits you, Cancer. Listen, until we meet next time, take good care of yourself. Bye for now.